There's a lot of fear and anxiousness surrounding climate change that I think just causes a lot of distress for a lot of young people.
I actually know people that have said that they're not sure if they want to have children in the future because they're worried about, bringing children into a world that is so under threat from climate change. And, that's quite an extreme example, but I think that kind of shows the level of concern that our generation has.
I think young people are affected by climate change given the actions of previous generations. So whether we like it or not, it has sort of fallen on our shoulders to make a change.
I think young people are affected by climate change in two ways. So first, through the physical impact that it has had on young people, and also through the psychological impact that it's had. There's fear, there's concern, there's even feelings of abandonment and being ignored by older generations and by people in power. Young people have been able to channel these negative emotions into more positive action.
There are certain people who don't believe that climate change is real. There have been political leaders saying that climate change is fake news, and there are people who aren't willing to face the fact that climate change is real. A lot of us probably don't feel the first-hand experience of climate change yet.
I think I read somewhere in a YouGov poll that 69% of the UK feel distant to climate change but have a good understanding of it. I feel that if we're clearer messaging from top down, then people will be more willing to make that change.
A lot of people still see climate change as being something that necessarily doesn't affect them. I think it's definitely for a lot of people like a distant issue, and shifting the focus from gas and oil to renewable energy sources is something that will take a lot of time and a lot of efforts that people aren't willing to bring in.
If I were in government, the first thing that I would do would be to implement a carbon tax. So what a carbon tax is where the government introduces and sets a price on carbon emissions emitted by corporate polluters and by individuals. You can use the revenue and the yields from the tax to reinvest into more renewable energies and to also recycle that back into low-income households who may be affected disproportionately more because they spend a higher percentage of their income on energy.
I think that we're at a really crucial turning point, and everything that COVID has taken away from us, I think it's given us a really unique opportunity to reconcile economic recovery with a green recovery. I think, as we work to kind of build the economy back up, there's definitely an opportunity to do that sustainably and to tie in green initiatives. The government has got some initiatives in that direction, but it'd be great to see a few more.
If I were in the government, the first thing that I would do to help with climate change would be to levy a universal waste disposal fee. I do believe that that is very important because it's pivotal to reduce waste right from its root.
I don't want to sound negative, however, in the words of the Queen, she mentioned that it's very irritating when world leaders discuss but don't actually act. So if world leaders could come together and agree and actually then implement, as opposed to just discuss, I think that was what we would be looking for.
I think one thing that's really great about this summit this year is obviously the focus on young people. I know there's a lot of frustration among young people who feel like they're just not being listened to, so it's really great to see that being centre stage.
More short-term agreements, so pledges for maybe the next 5 or 10 years to cut down on emissions, because we really need those short-term goals to be able to reach a long-term target.
Maybe going veggie once or twice a week, maybe investing in an electric vehicle, trying to buy sustainably, those are all things we can do.
Just have meaningful conversations, whether that be lobbying an MP, discussing climate change in social groups, even just a case of maybe sharing a post that you've seen on social media about climate change, just bring up those discussions, bring up that awareness, even small little habits like making sure that your lights are always turned off, filling up the laundry as much as you can, and just ensuring that your everyday habits are changed.
That's a good one. That's a really good one, because I feel when we think about, let's give up how much paper we use, and we go and use a laptop, we don't think about actually how much carbon is being produced from using the internet, for example.
I do think even a vegan diet, as beneficial as it is, I've still got quite a long way to go. I try and be vegetarian. Vegetarian at most. Eggs is a bit difficult to give up. I'm finding it quite difficult to give eggs up.
So I think one thing I couldn't give up is probably mangoes. They rack up huge air miles, I think, but I love them so much. So I think I probably would have to treat myself maybe once in a while as opposed to every week.